Good evening, brothers and sisters. Kumusta mong tanan? I hope everyone is well. Tonight, I'll be sharing with you God's keys to true happiness. And this will be our topic for the first Friday teaching this evening. So, unsa man ni siya? Unsa man ning true happiness? Unsa man sa ning God's keys? Sige, ato nung storyahan. But before that, I'd like to share lang ba na, before I used to wonder, no, why do we suffer in life? Kay my father died many years ago, and I suffered for 3 years before I was able to get over with it. Yeah, I asked myself, ganong it took me 3 years to let go of that suffering. And I realized later na that suffering brought me to become stronger in life. Kaya ako naman yung lead sa family. So after all, it was good. But at that time, there were two choices. To suffer and to choose to be happy. But I choose to suffer. Why? I realized then that anything pain is inevitable. So when my father died, I had this pain. And that pain have allowed me to suffer because I allow it to linger in my heart and in my mind. So therefore, suffering was become my option. Instead of choosing to be happy. So, nganong ni-choose man kong suffering, and it took me 3 years to suffer, nga pwede ba ko mo-choose to be happy? Pagkamatay sa kong papa, di, mingon ako nga, sige, go na lang ko, okay, nanaan din ang life, nagkamot na lang ko, mag-enjoy lang ta, para si papa di mag-all. But why did I choose to suffer for 3 years? So, ato nang tukyon, brothers, no? But, I'm telling you, I'm not an expert in this topic because I'm still a work in progress. But I'll be sharing with you a part of my experience that I was able to come up with these principles that I come to adhere. So, our sharing objectives for this evening are as follows. 1. Why is it hard to choose to be happy? Second, why does it take to choose to be happy? And last, what is true happiness? So, ato na itukion, brothers and sisters. Let's begin with the first objective. Why is it hard to choose to be happy? Anong reason mo kayo? Imagine ako, it took me 3 years to choose to be happy. Ano man? Why? It's because of our autopilot self-programs. These are the hardcore habits and traits. It depends on how we are raised, brothers and sisters. Natay mga autopilot na mga behaviors or traits and habits nga mao na imo nakita nga kung naay gani butang nga di ka ganahan or you fear something, like my fear before was fear of death, and because death came through the death of my father, I was very fearful. It took me a lot of pain, and then that becomes a part of me. So hardcore habits. So my automatic reply is to suffer because I have this pain inside my heart. That's autopilot programs. It will automatically run. And these programs depends on the environment where you belong. So magdepende sa environment. Kung na-nurture ta maayo, then kung na-nurture para sa ginikanan to accept the things that we cannot control, like death, then di na ta mo worry, di na ta mag-uol, di na ka mo suffer. Why? Because you were able to accept it, and that's your program. Totoo mo ta na train. So that is why it's difficult to choose to be happy. And napay daghan, brothers, but we'll just stick to that. Second, so what does it take to choose to be happy? So karon, nakainamon tay mga autopilot programs nato nga built-in. Karon unsaon nato nga makapili gyud ta. And I have realized that there is a technique that we have to apply para makapili gyud to be happy in all circumstances. Unsa man ni siya? Mindfulness. And mindfulness, if you look at the dictionary, it means maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and surroundings, environment, through a gentle and nurturing lens. So, in other words, unsa man ning atong pasabutan ning mindfulness. For example, abot nimo sa balay, kapoy kay ka, nagkiat-kiat imong anak. Kung nagkit-kit mo na kapoy kay ka, usahay, ang tendency, like in my case, usahay, kasi na time yun, na every times kumurag sa puton ko, ay samok na, kay kapoy kay ko sa trabaho, samok mo yun mo. But then, if we are mindful enough, dapat dili na ito dapat istoryaon. Dapat dili ito mga istorya. Why? Because if we are mindful nga naginana ang mga bata, it's because they are excited to see me or they are excited to see you, then mayroon ka nga, sa kong anak ko then I have to bond with them instead of being angry. So, a lot of things, if we are just being mindful, then we will shift to to knowing what is the right thing to do. Another example, nag-drive ta. Then suddenly, naalay ni cut ni mo nga kanang motorcycle driver. No? Grabe case na so hapit ka na crash, hapit ka na bangka. So what was the tendency? You get angry, you get mad. Ako sad, in my case, normally, magsuko ta. But, if you are mindful, kung masuko ko, matay kansi, mangkuha mo ko'y mahimo aning drivera, kay ni pakialam, suktoy ra ba na. Kung masuko ko sa iyang behavior, ako may sadaan. Ako na may kansi, maglagot man ko. Sama sige po na masuko tas tong asawa. Kung masuko tas tong asawa, kita may kansi. So, if we know, if we become mindful, if we are aware of the right thing to do at that very moment, then our autopilot, our old habits, our old traits will not run us, but we will be able to take control. And that's mindfulness. And if we are mindful, then we will know to choose to be happy in all circumstances. But I'm telling you, it's not an easy task. Again, I'm still a work in progress, but I'm trying to do it the best I can. But hopefully, I will be able to overcome all circumstances. But it takes time, brothers and sisters. So the third objective is, what does it take to be? What is true happiness? And true happiness, these are the God's keys, and I call this the acronym C.A.D.S. So, unsa man ning C.A.D.S, brothers and sisters? Let's begin, no? The first one is contentment. Unsa man ning contentment? Na ako'y amigo, I have a friend who's a gambler. Before, when he gambles, no? Ang iyang buhaton, set siya, basta makadaogan ko 50,000 sa casino, gawas na ko. Pero pag abot niya 50,000, basta maabot pa 100,000 akong daog. Abot 100,000, basta ato 100,000. Hato din ko ulit niya, pusoy. Why? Because, wala man siya makontento kung sinanaan niya yung daog na. Why? Because greed sinks in. And when greed sinks in, we will never be contented. And we will always climb higher and higher and higher to the point that there will be consequence. And what's consequence? Naiusahay kita kanang we work too hard, we do a lot of things just to accumulate this much wealth. But later on, we realize that the wealth that we accumulated later on, we will spend this to gain back our health, because the moment that we accumulate this, nagkasakit ta, then alam po ito nang gastuon para mabalik atong health. Another thing is, kung accumulate tagdaghan, the tendency is, ang atong mga anak magsalig, and they will be dependent on us, then we will rob them of the opportunity to build themselves because we provided them with everything. So that is why, brothers and sisters, we have to set our level of contentment. So if kunin mo level of contentment, once you get there, that's it. Do not let greed takes over. And because when we are contented, contentment means happiness and peace. And our scriptures says about this also in Matthew 5:5, and it says, you're blessed when you are content. You find yourself proud, owner of everything that can't be bought. See? So when we are contented, we are blessed. And why? It's because we have brought nothing into the world, and neither can we carry anything out when we die. So having sustenance and covering, we shall be content with these things in 1 Timothy 6:7-8. Because nothing is permanent, we all gonna die, so what's the point of accumulating much? Brothers and sisters, if we have much, then let's share it. Because whatever is excess to your level of contentment is for sharing to others. The second code, C.A.D.S. Now we go to the second code, and that is acceptance. What do we mean by acceptance? Brothers and sisters, in this world, there are a lot of things that we don't have control. We don't have control about the weather, the disaster. There are also things that we cannot change. Sa una, lisod kay i-change no ang atong atong face, pero karon na may plastic surgery so maka-change ta. So you look at the mirror, I don't like your face, dali ra kayo no. Pero there are things that we cannot change, brothers and sisters. However, if we dwell on changing it when it is impossible to change, then we will suffer. So the key to happiness is just accept. Accept our current realities. This is what we are. This is what I am. And if it can be better, then I'll find a way to be better. Then let go of the things that we cannot change and we cannot control. And by then, we will be happy. Because acceptance means happiness and peace. The third, brother, before I go to the third one, why do we have to accept the things that we cannot change, that we cannot control? Because it says in Psalm 62:8 that we should always put our trust in God. We have to tell Him all our problems because God is our place of safety. And I'm struck with this serenity prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr that says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So why bother to fight it when you can just accept it? And the third code, C.A.D.S, now we go to the third one, which is D, and also called detachment. In this world, brothers and sisters, we have a lot of attachments with worldly things. I remember a story of an OFW na gikan lang sa gawas. Pag naugin niya gikan sa barko, nipalit niya sa sakyanan. Montero, mas luto niya nipalit. Pagpalit niya sa sakyanan, excited kayo siya para siyang pamilya, para sa mga iyang bata. Pag abot sa sakyanan ng Montero, na-celebrate siya. Saka excited siya ang anak ni gawas siyang anak. Niadto dito sa sakyanan, naguha o bato, niya nagkulit, naigisuwat ang anak. Kaya ang anak, maupatay pagkabago sa katon og sulat. Naigisuwat dito, kaya na-excited po ito ng anak. Pagkakita niyo sa amahan, yung nagsulat. Ang ibuhat sa amahan, kuha ang bato, gipil-pil maayo ang kamot, antod ito nga nagupok na. Pagkatod sa doktor, ginon nga ang kamot, dili na ma-recover. Dili na siya maayo, murag makruked na gyud ang kamot sa bata. Sa amahan, devastated kaayo, suko kay siya siyang kaugaling ng nganot yung buhat. Pagawas pag yun niya, tanaw niya sa sakinan, ngano, siyang kalagod, bunala niya ang sakinan, patanaw niya sa sakinan, usam na gibuhat siyang anak, ang ibutan dito, I love you, Dad. Ikumot ang iyang kasing-kasing. Kung iba mo kung sino yung buhatan ng iyong han, nagikog. Pero you know what happens, brother? This is an example of our attachment to material things. That sometimes when we're so attached to material possessions that we forget the value of the people around us, even our family. We're so attached to our dogs or to our car, to our house, that kung nana gini gamay ba nga makuan nga mawagtang o maunsa diha, mag-hysterical ta, masukot ta, and we forget the value of the person nga nasa panimalay. Usa sa kuan na usay. Nabitang grabe kay to nimong butanga, na nawagtang lagalit na misplace asa gibutang, ni nagwad kag ano kinong gilabta na gina niya, nagisukan ni mo imong asawa, na ibihagan ni mo imong anak. But what is it? It's just a material thing. Is that material thing more valuable than family? No, it's not. But because of our attachment. Because of our attachment. And if we can detach ourselves from it, brothers and sisters, detachment means happiness and peace. And that's the third one. Now let's move on to the fourth one. But before that, let us look at what the scripture says about attachment. Why we have to detach ourselves from things? Because so we fix our eyes not on what is seen, because what is seen are material things, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. All the material things that we have, all the possessions, the car, the house, these are all temporary, these will all pass. But the love, the care that we show, the concern that we show to our loved ones, to our families, over material things will last forever. And that is eternal. And from Romans 12:2, do not copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect. So if we let go of these material things and focus on enriching our minds, then God will come upon us and we will know His will. And that will only happen if we detach ourselves from these material things. And last, brothers and sisters, pinagod, mo na niya akong last, service. Sa maning service? Well, na-struck ko aning service, brothers, because wagig tayo school of life bitaw. When we study, nag-high school ta, nag-college ta, ang atos din mga academics good. But there is no school of life. We will learn the value of giving, generosity, and all. But it is in service that we find joy. We discover joy in helping others. And once we discover joy in helping others, sometimes we will be able to discover our ultimate purpose in life, our existence. Why? Because we discover joy in it. And serving others means life of happiness and peace. Kasi mo, kaya itong during the COVID ba, na yung manuktok bitaw sa inyong mga silingan niya, nag-isod down, ayaw lang ko sa mga mahatag ni mo. Kung mahatag ka nila, bisag ko sa kagamay, ma-feed ang gini mo nga tao sa ito. And you will realize ba na, bless kita kay Kos Ginoo, no? Mas bless pag yun ko anin nila, kasi sila, nasa kong gate ng hayo, but ako nakahatag ko nila. So when we serve and when we give others, when we serve others, we will realize how blessed we are by God. And this is another key to happiness, brothers and sisters. Because according to 1 Peter 4:10, no? Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. So, through service, we will be able to utilize the gifts and the resources that are given by God to us. So, if we are being contented, whatever excess that we have, we share. If we don't, if we detach ourselves with all the material things, we just keep whatever we need, then whatever is excess, we can share it. And if we just accept our current reality, then whatever we have, we will willingly give it. And you know why, brothers and sisters? Why we have to do this? Because in Matthew 20:28, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others, and to give His life as a ransom for many. So, kung kayo, nindot kayo ba, na reflection ba na why we have to give? Because even our Lord gave up His life to serve others. How much mo kita? Binatongin mo. And usa sa among giman talaga sa among family sa ako, ang wife, ang mga anak nga. Ningkamot gyud in our own little ways that we can share and we can serve others. And let's just summarize, no? And as again, the keys to be truly happy is in acronym C.A.D.S. and contentment. We have to set our level of contentment, because if we don't, we will suffer all throughout, because we will never be enough. There will never be enough for us. Second, we have to accept that there are things that we cannot control and we cannot change. Just have to come. We just have to have the serenity and the courage and the wisdom to face them all. And the third, we have to detach ourselves from material things. Otherwise, our desires will never end. We keep getting and getting and getting, and in the end, we will suffer. So if we detach ourselves, we'll be happy. And lastly, when we serve others as Christ did for all of us, we will find joy in our hearts. And I'd like to leave you with this quote, brothers and sisters, that, of course, with COVID, there is a new normal. COVID-19, there is a new normal. And with this sharing, I'd like to leave you with this, that happiness is the new rich. Inner peace is the new success. Health is the new wealth. And kindness is the new cool. Brothers and sisters, I hope you have taken learnings from this sharing. And stay home. God bless us all. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening.